Good morning, friends and relatives. Welcome to the village of Yangna. You are in Los Angeles, and we are the original people of the lands. So we welcome you. We're glad that you're here. We say, Awishkoneha, Akwa, Mane, Tehobetamet. We're all happy to be here on this beautiful day. It took us a while to get here, and we're only like 16 miles away, but it took us over an hour. So lots of traffic. Things are a little broken. It's not the way it used to be, but we're here, right? And it's a good day. So thank you all. I'll just give you a little introduction in my own language. I would say, Netuanya ne Tina Tongvetnaha Koi Paivamkar. My name is Tina. I am Gabrielino Tongva as well as Ventureño Chumash. Ne Yaro.
Me'iha Netuanya ne Jessa. I am Tina's daughter.
Neshuk.
Miha Netwanya Ne Honor, Tina's grandson.
So as we continue, we are still here, and you see our next generation coming up and learning the language and the culture as well. So we were honored to be asked to do the blessing, and so we thank you for that. It's really important to always acknowledge the original peoples of the area. Our ancestors are here, we can feel them, they're with us. So we thank you for that acknowledgement. We're gonna start with the blessing, and we normally go to the 4 directions. I don't wanna ask you all to stand, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it without having you to go to the 4 directions. But we start in the north. The north is where all life begins, where the waters and the snows begin. It's designated to the eagle and the bear. And the bear, she teaches us how to raise our young, how to protect them. And this critical time where so many things are going on and affecting our children, we need that. So we connect to that ancestor and we acknowledge it with song.
Tai hunu kaneshe neshu naha kwa neshu naha kwa e naha kwa neshu naha kwa e.
That's the north we call Tume. Then we turn to the east, which we call Komi. That's the place where the sun comes up and new growth is encouraged. So it's the direction for youth, and it's held firmly by the hawk and the deer that we used for foods, and we didn't waste any part of it. We used every single part. And the hawk that shows us how to really see, not just with the eyes, but deep within from the heart. And we appreciate the ancestors, and we acknowledge the ancestors for this direction.
Tai hunu kaneshe neshun, tai hunu kaneshe neshun, naha kwa neshu naha kwa e, naha kwa neshu naha kwa e.
And then we go to the south, we call Kataime. This is the place where the knowledge is kept. This is the place that's designated to middle age, and it's represented by the owl and the snake. And many people have a fear of the snake, but when you think about it, this snake that keeps its belly upon Mother Earth at all times, feeling the pulse of our Earth Mother, we acknowledge it. It's a strong animal spirit, and we offer our prayers to that direction.
Tai hunu kaneshe neshun, tai hunu kaneshe neshun, naha kwa neshu naha kwa e, naha kwa neshu naha kwa e.
And finally, to the direction of the west. This is the area that we come from, and so it's very special to us. It's guarded by the several creatures, but one of the most strong to us, we feel like it's our relative, is the dolphin. It's believed that the dolphin was the protector of the underworld and the link between us and the underworld. And so this area is also designated to the old age. It's where the wisdom is kept, wisdom that takes a lifetime to achieve. So we all honor these ancestors in this area as well.
Tai hunu kanesha neshun. Tai hunu kanesha neshun. Naha kwa neshu naha kwa e. Naha kwa neshu naha kwa e.
And through the west gates into the heavens that we call Tokupad, that's where our ancestors go once they leave this earthly realm. And we know that they're here with us still. They look down on us. And if we pray hard and we listen to the ancestors, we could feel that connection, and they guide us. And they let us know if we're on the right path, and they let us know if we need to make changes. So when you pray, truly listen, because we all have connection to our ancestors. We all have loved ones that have gone on to the heavens, and you can feel them. So again, we give respect to those who have walked before us, and of course to our Earth Mother, Ohod Tehovet. She gives so much to us. We abuse her, but she just continues to give and to give. So we pledge that we will take care of our Earth Mother. We will stop poisoning her and the waters that are so critical. We need our water, our air, our lands. What are we doing to them? Please join me in that. Join me in that fight to keep our spirits alive, to keep everything that provides for us, right? We need that. So I thank you all for that. And lastly, I just ask for blessings for each and every one of you. The fact that you have come together to talk about such an important issue shows that your hearts are open. And I pray that you receive the knowledge and the direction that you need to make great changes. And finally, I'll give the mic to my daughter.
My mother asked me what I would have to say about displacement, and that was a tough one for me, so I thought I would just share my story with you. I'm a single mother with no help from my baby's dad, and I rent a room for the two of us. And it brings pain to me to know that I pay taxes on stolen land of my ancestors, and I struggle to maintain a roof over my head for me and my son. So if we talk about displacement, this is displacement. For further, land development hurts. When we think about these fires that pass through and how quick our homes can be burned down, obviously the way our homes are built aren't right, so let's think something more like earth homes, something more natural, something that we can be sustained with. That's all that I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as we leave the stage, I just want to say to you, Tehov Kopo Ami, which means may you all fare well.
Wow. Please join me in thanking the Calderon family one more time. Good morning, everyone. My name is Odetta MacLeish-White, and I'm the Managing Director for the Transformation Alliance in Atlanta. We are the SPARCC recipient in Atlanta, and it's just my pleasure and honor to be your host and colleague today. SPARCC events are special for me because before becoming the Managing Director of the Transformation Alliance, I worked on the SPARCC team as a site coordinator to Atlanta and Memphis. Where's Memphis at? And as an employee of Enterprise Community Partners. So I know the names and some of the stories of the human beings who have really poured out their best to make our time together today interesting, productive, and hopefully a little transformational. There are no nameless event planners for me at this event. I see Catherine, Maria, Stephanie, Sasha, Lauren, and many others who you will get to meet or hear from as we go through the day. I was really moved by the Calderon, sorry. So my first goal as your host is to help level set for everyone in the room and who is watching by live stream, welcome, about what SPARCC is. So that acronym, let's start with that. SPARCC stands for Strong, Prosperous, and Resilient Communities Challenge. How's that for some ambition and scope, right? And SPARCC was designed to explore and empower the strategies and processes that will change the systems that currently shape our built environment. Those houses, office buildings, community centers, roads, and transit. Our nation's system of policymaking, investment, and power hoarding have produced and continue to exacerbate and hold in place race and place-based disparities in health risks and climate vulnerability. And those risks and vulnerabilities are fully embodied in what's happening to people's homes. What has become clear in SPARCC's work over the past 2 years is that all 6 of our SPARCC sites share a specific common challenge, and that is the displacement of communities and families from their homes and neighborhoods. How can we succeed in building a more equitable future if the healthiest, most climate-resilient places are accessible only to those who can afford to live there, while everyone is excluded or forced out? And because the scale of the displacement crisis is national, encompassing neighborhoods, regions, and states and families, as we just saw, SPARCC is national, pushing for bold solutions that are rooted in honesty about the role of race and racism, the role that race and racism have played in getting us where we are and how we can move forward. So at this Investment Without Displacement event today, we want all of you, those in the room and those joining by live stream, to help us explore the strategies that help cities and regions achieve equitable and inclusive growth. We want you to end the day inspired, full of ideas to implement and explore, and with an expanded network of peers to call on when the going gets tough, because we know that the going is tough. Our goals for today are to organize, catalyze, and mobilize. Our plenaries are being live broadcast at www.sparcchub.org. We ask you to share your thoughts as we're going through the morning via social media. We have a hashtag, #WeAllThrive. Please share questions and comments through that hashtag. And here in LA, outside the room, we have a comment wall. We look forward to seeing that filled with your ideas, your questions, your calls to action. Our national displacement crisis is also deeply human and personal. We just saw that. How could it be otherwise when it is families and individuals who are being uprooted from their generational communities by a system designed to hoard power in the hands of the few? Every SPARCC site has story after story of colleagues and neighbors who come to realize they have to leave their homes and disrupt their lives. So my other critical task as your host and colleague this morning is to help create an atmosphere that is powered not just by our collective intellect and expertise, but by our collective will to imagine a better and greater future for the people we care about. Make no mistake about it, part of our national crisis is a crisis of imagination. And we're about to embark on a day full of words that express our intelligence, our intentions, our hopes, our visions, and that's great. But words can become a coping mechanism that distance us from the anxiety and the stress and the trauma of trying to find justice in a world that was not set up to deliver justice. Words and data points and information are powerful, but they create distance. And one of SPARCC's greatest gifts could be these moments when we start to close the distance between people, when we invest in opportunities to heal one another. A great story map won't heal people. Personal stories and sharing them heal people. So before we go any further, I want us to collectively usher into this room the energy and spirit of those people for whom your imagination is boundless. And what do I even mean by that? I'm going to share with you the people for whom my imagination is boundless. Sorry. And it won't surprise you, it's my kids and my husband. So there's my husband and then my son, Isaiah. He's 11, and he is artistic and logical and kind. And my 6-year-old daughter, Adria, is confident and compassionate and smart. And I imagine a world for them where they are expressive and joyful and powerful, and fully human without fear of physical harm or death. I worry for them. I want their movement, physical, emotional, and spiritual, to be unrestricted. So I do the personal and professional work that I think will help bring about such a world for them. And I need all of you here and everyone watching to do your work. So close your eyes for the next 30 seconds, please, so I can calm myself. But also, so you can conjure up in your mind the face or faces of people for whom you imagine a world without limits. Once you've got them in your minds, say hello to them, hug them, and let those feelings of love and concern come into your body. And as we move throughout the day, please hold on to these faces and the energy they bring you. Ask if the conversations you are hearing will serve these faces, and if they don't, speak up. Ask more questions, help us to imagine more. They need us to figure out some things and then make the fixes. All right, thank you. Okay. Now, with all of the power and energy of not just you, but of all those people you've brought into the room and all those who are watching, we wanted to express a set of values that bring us to this work and that we hope you'll share with us today and going forward. So I'm going to read the first of these values, and then we're going to have folks reading different parts just to start bringing other voices into the conversation. So here we go. We believe all people have the right to live healthy, safe, and prosperous lives so that all can thrive.
That shaped American cities and regions has created deep disparities that persist today and have led to unequal health outcomes, greater vulnerability, climate change, and fewer opportunities of prosperity for people of color.
We believe low-income communities and communities of color need equitable access to investment that preserves and strengthens current residents, businesses, and cultures, reinforcing value in people rather than displacing them.
We believe as a society we should take responsibility for and acknowledge past wrongs to communities of color and actively work to reduce disparities.
We believe community-informed and community-driven investment should support investment decisions that realize the community's vision for its own future, regardless of class, color, ability, or income.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, it's my pleasure to ask Thomas Yee and Laura Raymond to come up and make an official welcome and bring on our first plenary of the day. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah. You can hear me? Okay. Odetta, we said we weren't going to cry today. Yeah, it's already starting. Okay, I'm going to try to hold it together, too. Thank you all so much for joining us here in Los Angeles today. We are so happy to host an amazing group of leaders from around the country. I am Thomas Yee, Initiative Officer for the LA Thrives Collaborative, working out of the Low Income Investment Fund, and I'm joined by Laura Raymond, Campaign Director of the Alliance for Community Transit, Los Angeles. Together with the California Community Foundation, we help to coordinate the local SPARCC LA table, along with Uplift Inglewood, Long Beach Forward, and Building Healthy Communities Long Beach, and local staff from the SPARCC national team, such as Enterprise Community Partners and the Natural Resources Defense Council. And it's an honor to be part of the National SPARCC Initiative and lift up our regional collaborative and connect capital to communities. And I want to go beyond that. I want to recognize the contributions of our amazing collaborative partners. So I would like to ask members of the SPARCC LA table, if you're a partner in ACT LA and LA Thrives, in Uplift Inglewood, and in BHC Long Beach and Long Beach Forward, could you please stand so you can be recognized by everybody here? Thank you for that warm round of applause. They're doing fantastic work. They're the leaders we are fortunate and honored to work with here locally and build the collaborative around. They're the ones building affordable housing, small business incubators and markets near transit, acquiring naturally occurring affordable housing, and organizing with residents for systemic policy change.
Thomas and I were happy to be able to welcome all of you here today because we're truly so excited to be having this conversation here in Los Angeles. It's a national conversation, and our region is grappling with so many of the key issues that are going to be discussed today. Los Angeles is home to some of the world's most opulent wealth, but it's also experiencing the worst homelessness crisis in the country. And when you factor in housing costs, almost a quarter of residents in LA live in poverty. We celebrate the region's new commitment to public transportation, water conservation, and green infrastructure at a time of climate crisis. But as communities face these massive investments, we're pushing hard on decision makers to take the threats of displacement and gentrification seriously and lead with bold action and innovative ideas to create more neighborhood stability. This is truly a transformative moment for Los Angeles County and also for your regions around the country. And together we're rising to the challenge. This region and your regions are blessed with so many incredible, committed organizers, advocates, artists, planners, researchers. We know all of you gathered today have stories, ideas, and solutions. So we hope you have a chance today to not only hear from the panels and panelists and participate in the program, but also to meet the people sitting next to you and soak in all the collective knowledge that we've gathered at the LA Grand Hotel today. We're honored to introduce our first panel, two intellectual giants whose ideas about racial and social equity are both groundbreaking and ground-truthing a way forward for a sustainable and inclusive future. Dr. Manuel Pastor is near and dear to our hearts here in LA, whose jokes never get old. He's a professor of sociology and American studies and ethnicity at the University of Southern California. He currently directs the Program for Environmental and Regional Equity, PEER, at USC, and USC's Center for the Study of Immigrant Integration, CSII. His concepts of just growth and regional equity truly lead us forward.
John A. Powell is director of the Haas Institute for a Fair and Inclusive Society and professor of law, African American and ethnic studies at the University of California, Berkeley. John led the development of an opportunity-based model that connects affordable housing to education, health, healthcare, and employment, and is well known for his work developing the frameworks of targeted universalism and othering and belonging to effect equity-based interventions. You could read their full bios in the program. So please welcome to the stage for an intimate conversation between the two of them, Dr. Manuel Pastor and John A. Powell, to discuss what brought us to this moment and how we can move forward.